Okay, everybody, with something a little bit different today. So instead of our more medical style videos, we're actually rocking something kind of crazy that came across my feed. So I'm actually here with Onyx today instead of and we are going to watch this video here that we saw involving the ocean. Now,
Well, I
Onyx, why
haven't
don't
seen
you?
it yet.
Yeah, why don't you go into a little bit about me and you's history with the ocean?
Yeah, so Ophis and I met back in college, both doing marine biology. I also did a minor in photography, so he says that's relevant. We'll see what that
Yeah.
means. Based on this, I'm betting there's a lot of Photoshop or BS type of stuff.
I watched the first minute of this video and I could not stop laughing, and I stopped immediately after that, and I was like, I need to show this to you because it is,
Oh God.
boy, is it something. The video itself is on the older side. It's like 5 years old, but I just found it. It is
Oh, so
dumb. It is
stupider.
stupid. It is it
Not like
is
brain rot
dumb.
stupid yet.
And so let's get into it because
That still might be brain rot.
I think this is one of those things that you'll get a huge kick out of.
No other prehistoric animals have divided opinions more
That is
than the
indeed a shark.
Megalodon, mostly about the question whether it still exists or not.
It doesn't.
While a lot of
by the way.
experts
that is-
definitely say that who fervently believe that they still roam the Earth's waters. Many sightings of the mighty fish have been reported through the decades, some of which are so compelling that it's really hard
seen
not
the
to
Loch
believe
Ness
that these
Monster, too. It
monsters
doesn't mean
died
it's
out
real.
millions of years ago. The number one
Sasquatch a
sighting
lot.
is particularly curious, so stay tuned
You
for
leave
that.
my mother out of this.
Here are 10 sightings of the Megalodon that may
Don't
prove
talk about
it
your
still
mother.
exists.
Talk about my brother.
Number 10. An unverified attack.
Immediately, this is where I paused it the first time. Immediately. What do you think looks wrong with this whale? Other than the fact that the scale doesn't match, it doesn't look like it fits the background. It looks like it's been rendered. And it apparently
Well,
doesn't bleed.
all the sand is way too smooth. I mean, the
All the
blood you
sand
could
is
technically
smooth.
argue is you could technically argue blood is like a little weird because it gets washed away, but looks those are way too. It almost looks like ground beef over there, not
Yeah,
like
it doesn't look right. Like the organs don't look right.
no,
And so it's like that's
no,
why I was like,
no.
this was the moment where I was like, I gotta get in my photography minor buddy. And I was like, and we gotta have fun with this one.
Let's start things off not with an actual sighting, but with the possible outcome of a close encounter with a megalodon. A few years
not
ago,
an
a
actual
photo
sighting.
surfaced on
In
the
the video
internet
about
showing
10
a
sightings.
beached whale. While seeing a beached whale is
Look at
already
the
strange
scale.
and sad in
It doesn't
itself,
make any
there's
sense.
something that sets this event apart from the rest. The whale's entire tail is missing, and it looks like it's been bitten off by something large. The most compelling thing about the photo is that you can clearly
God,
see
look how
bite marks
ugly
around
that
where the
CG
tail
is
should
on
have
that
been.
graphic.
Now, this is a 70-foot humpback whale, one of the largest animals in the oceans. Who could have done such a thing? Now, while it is true that orcas or killer whales have a habit of hunting and feeding on whales, it
They do
isn't
not
known whether they
sever
can
a
take
whale
on a
in
whale
half,
this
however.
size. Plus, experts believe that the tail was
No,
shorn
I mean
off in one
they'll go
bite.
after
The
the
only
shark
animal with the size
livers. I
and-
mean, they're notorious for that.
Yeah.
That is
But I mean, also
extraordinarily
also,
notorious.
also look at that. They said, okay, it's a 70-foot humpback whale. Let's assume they mean 70 foot if the
Right.
tail was attached to it, right? Look at the scale of the
Yeah.
whale to the dunes behind it and the houses behind the dunes that aren't that far away. And then look at the scale of the whale.
Even if
It doesn't make sense.
look, even if it's where the way that all the organs are just doesn't also make sense. If it was the tail, if it's just the tail bitten off, why is the way everything is fallen out of it that way?
Yeah, and also
You'd expect that more as if you were to cut like the underside or something.
Yeah, and also,
it just doesn't make sense.
Also, if we're implying that the tail was bit clean off, right? He took the tail off and somehow didn't take any of the organs, and
none of that should be there.
and presumably did it in the ocean, and then just nothing, no other thing ever touched any of the rest of the whale all the way to the shore,
Which is
and it
so
didn't
ridiculous. I mean,
rot
there's
at
so
all.
many videos out there of whales, sharks, even certain seal species, munching on whale carcasses.
Yeah, it's just with how grainy the
To
footage of like
possibly
this is
do
supposed to be
this
like a
is, you
found
guessed
footage.
it, the
It
mighty
doesn't look
Megalodon.
correct.
Or maybe a sperm whale, but they got no reason to go after these guys. Number 9. Unusually
Dude,
young
this dude's
teeth.
voice is pissing
I
me
don't
off.
like his
another
voice.
sighting. I promise we're going
I'm
to get
sure
into those
this
in a
guy
bit.
is just doing his
but
job,
there's
but his
also
voice is a
something
little
pretty compelling
irritating.
here.
And I'm one to
This
talk.
story has something to do with the British ship HMS Challenger, a
HMS
former
Challenger,
small
very
warship that was
famous
converted into the
expedition.
first dedicated oceanographic ship with its own
Yes, it
laboratories,
is.
microscopes, and other scientific equipment on board. Its job was to explore the oceans and discover new animals that have never been previously discovered.
That's true.
Mostly by dredging the bottom of the ocean and see what they can drag up. While it was dredging a seabed near Tahiti in 1875, it pulled up a pair of Megalodon teeth. Over the years, dating of the teeth has produced mixed results. Some dates fall to the 10,000 to 15,000 year old range, and that's a far cry from 1.5 million years ago.
That's another and that's a huge thing too, because a lot of people say like, oh well, the dating is inaccurate, carbon dating does X, Y. First of all, you're talking about samples that were collected on a research expedition at a time where people didn't even know what continents were yet. Like, the concept of plate tectonics didn't come out for 100 more years. Like, you could have had a kid look at a map of Earth and the continents and go, oh man, South America kind of looks like it'd fit in Africa. And they go, that's hilarious, sweetie. You want a shot and a cigarette? Like, that's how far back we are in time. And they're like, and the samples are unreliable. Well, yeah, they're extremely old, not preserved correctly. I don't trust any of the data from 1875. And it's like, okay, yeah, you get mixed results on different systems. Like, even then, he's like, oh, well, 10,000 and 15,000 years is a far cry. All of human history after Jesus is only 2,000 years old. So you're like, that's way closer. That's so far away. All of time past Jesus is 2,000.
I mean, like, all the science from that time is constantly, yes, there was good science. I mean, this is around the time period of the Galapagos and Charles Darwin and all of that. Like, we're constantly updating science. It's new processes, new procedures, new everything constantly comes into place in terms of dating and new nomenclature and keeping everything categorized. You know, it's hard to say it's just going to be like oh well, yeah, it's definitely this from a megalodon, blah blah blah. I mean, you could have really big sharks. I mean, this is talking about carbon dating. Now, I don't know if have they done any genetic testing on this, because you can still get large sharks. Like, certain great whites can grow relatively big, and you know, could someone mistake a tooth? Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. In 1875, probably. I mean,
oh, absolutely. And the other side of the coin is too. It's like, we don't know the oceans. We've only explored such a small percent. Do you know what the number is off the top of your head? It's like less than like 10%.
I mean, yeah, visually less than 10%, but I think all the ocean bottoms at this point have been like mapped via sonar.
Yeah, but like, there's so much unexplored realistically that, you know, Megalodon, in my opinion, is extinct. It's gone.
Yeah,
Megalodon,
as well as my scientific opinion. If there's one thing, you know, it's gone. As much as people want it to be around. I mean, are there a ton of species in the ocean we don't know about? Absolutely. However, the science just says like an animal that big with that big of a caloric necessity, like Megalodon, which was in the shallow seas, which required relatively warm weather, which means it would have to be around like islands, like, you know, kind of like Tahiti or the Mexicos, or like the Americas.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's like, you would see it in a world where everyone has 16 cell phones and cameras and helicopters and whatever. It would be obvious. It would look like a giant shark offshore eating a whole whale. Like, it wouldn't be this stealthy.
Absolutely.
Even if there was one left. What is there? Is it just immortal? Like, they only lived like 50 years. So you're telling me there's a breeding population of two wouldn't be enough. They would inbreed and die off. So you're telling me there's an entire breedable population of these enormous whale cutting in half sharks, and no one has just ever seen any of them ever. But trust us, because these guys in 1875 have some teeth that are kind of weird when we test them.
When Megalodon supposedly went extinct. If
the other side of the coin is too, like, you know, it's possible that a Megalodon like creature does exist, you know, But I don't think the size, the scale of Megalodon, there's mega in its name for a freaking
Yeah,
reason.
that entire
No, it is.
that entire genus on the phylogenetic tree is all extinct. Like it's just gone. There's no that doesn't continue. It's cut.
Yeah, I mean, and
Megalodons have
sharks
survived
get
to a
ridiculous.
far later time than
Yeah.
previously thought.
They can.
And if they made it to as late as 10,000 years ago, who's to say they aren't roaming the oceans today? Number
Most
8.
scientists, actually.
The Google image. Ever since
Oh, a
Google Maps was
Google
launched,
image.
a lot
Well,
of
I
people
guess
have
we
been
better
finding
shut up.
Oh yeah,
strange things on
this
that.
isn't
Some are
easily
easily
freaking
explainable,
doctored up.
like glitches on the photo or misidentifying certain
No
things
one
or
has
animals to
ever
be something totally
edited a
different.
photo inaccurately before.
An example is one recent viral photo, which
Never.
many thought to be the proof of the Kraken,
Google Earth
which turned
is so
out to
reliable.
be, well, just a rock. The image reportedly shows a Google Map image in the Bahamas. In it, you can clearly
What is
see
that,
the
a whole
silhouette of an
144p
extremely
on
large
that photo?
fish. Could it be a whale shark,
Wow,
the
that's-
only living animal that could even remotely match what's on the photo? Yeah, it could be. But if you see the photo, there's something
How can
a
you
bit
tell
off
anything
with
from the
shape for it to be a
photo?
Oh
whale
no,
shark.
you just got to look really hard at it. Ignore the fact that the front
Okay.
ignore the fact that the front looks literally nothing like a whale shark because it's pointed and not flat. Whale sharks have a flat rectangular
Absolutely.
face, so it clearly isn't a whale shark. And then you ignore the fact that basking sharks exist, which would be relatively that size and pointed. Though that's stupid. Ignore that. It's obviously a giant 70-foot monster shark that hasn't existed in millions of years. And also ignore the
No,
fact
I
that
do
there's
wa-
60 whole particles in the fucking zoom in of the picture. It's so with nothing
Yeah.
for
I
scale.
would love
There's
to know
no
what the
scale.
actual scale is here.
There isn't one.
I would love to know what the actual scale is. But the other side of the coin is, I do want to point out that sharks do swim this close to shore, and people do not
Constantly.
realize it.
Dude, look at some of the
Oh my
footage
god!
from
They
like
love to
Australia,
swim between those sandbars and stuff. It's crazy, and people.
and people
Yeah,
never. And
You gotta
that's
have,
and that's
you gotta have a healthy respect for it.
yeah, and
But,
people
you know,
will never notice them
The
like, unless you have
location
shark
is
spotting
there.
towers.
Yeah.
Of course, it
Oh,
is a
absolutely.
bit premature to declare this to be a megalodon, but what are the other
Premature.
Oh, you
possibilities
don't
for
say.
A
the
word.
whale and basking
That's
shark?
a word.
Number 7.
Oh, he did bring a basking shark.
The Cape
And
Town
conveniently
photo.
cut it after that.
This piece of evidence caused both a sensation
Cape
and
Town
an
photo.
uproar,
Okay, so
dividing
we're talking
mainstream
where
scientists
some of the
and those
world's
who are
largest
keeping
great
an
white
open
sharks
mind.
have
Absolutely.
ever been found.
This
Very
very
famous.
And
famous
known
photo
to
shows
jump
an
out of the
extremely
water.
large
Yep.
fish swimming alongside German
Ever look up
U-boats,
Shark Week?
reportedly taken just
So
off the
this is
coast
in
of
the
Cape Town, South
1940s.
Africa, during the height of World War
German
II
Okay.
over in 1942. The photo even shows German sailors looking at the monstrous beast as it swims alongside the submarines. Using the length of the
So someone took shark fin PNG, right? And they put a sepia filter over it. And then they just stuck it in the back of the photo. That's literally
I've seen
all
this photo.
is.
I've seen this photo so many times in my life, and I am 100% convinced that it is not a real photo.
Dude, so what you're telling me? You're telling me that in the middle of the bloodiest war of all time, a German U-boat was just sitting at the top of the surface with everyone out on deck staring at a shark, not at all worried about the Allies or being attacked or enemy subs. They were just ignoring all that because they saw fins and then never reported it or wrote it or took any pictures of their own or did anything at all ever. They didn't send a radio transmission, and then everyone forgot about it.
As a
Until
basis,
this
the
guy's
length of the
photo
fish,
came out
just from the dorsal fin to
miraculously.
the tail is a whopping 64 feet. Many have
Yeah,
claimed that this is
technically it could be a real
undeniable
photo,
evidence of
but
the Megalodon.
what's to say
Well,
that's
yeah.
not two distinct, different sharks?
I'm just gonna say. Also, I mean, the photo itself could be
It's a
real. I don't believe-
notorious area for
Yeah.
sharks.
Also, like, even if you look at it, right, the implication is stupid. Because they're like, oh, based off of the scale, I guess, even though the shark is an unknown amount of space between the boat and the shark. So we don't know how far away it is from the thing. So to use the boat as a scale is iffy at best. And you ignore the fact that they just said that between the dorsal fin and the tail fin is 64 feet. If you apply the ratios of something like a great white shark, that would imply double the length from the tip of the dorsal fin to the tip of the nose, which means you're saying that there is a 128-foot megalodon next to this submarine, which would make it almost as big as the submarine. And
if not actually partially bigger.
Also,
some of those U-boats are small, if I remember correctly.
it's also bigger than any scientific journal I ever read about Megalodon. I think most journals say they capped out at like 80. So you're telling me the biggest Megalodon that's ever existed by like an extra 60% was just hanging out at Cape Town, sightseeing the German U-boat, And no one said anything. And no one ever saw it again.
47 to 80 feet.
Yeah, 47 to 80. And they're saying this is 164 times 2, so 128. So an extra 48 feet off the biggest possible scientific explanation.
Even if you're applying a different logic here, that the proportions are different than
maybe
a
the
great
ratios
white.
are different, right? Maybe
the ratios are different, but you're still only allowing for what, 16 feet at the front of that shark, based on the size of this.
Yeah.
That doesn't
So
make
unless
sense.
it's the pit bull equivalent of sharks, it ain't working
today. Or at least one was still alive in 1942.
Pitbull
However,
equivalent
a
of
lot
sharks.
also says the photo was faked, and it was the Discovery Channel, the ones who showed the photo in the documentary about Megs, was behind it all. If the photo is proven to be true, it's definitely a game changer, and it would be enough to change minds of people with
Didn't we just talk about those a couple nights ago?
Yeah.
The David Stead sighting.
Oh, good old David
In
Stead. I totally know who
1918,
that
the
is.
ichthyologist David Stead recorded a strange unease among the lobstermen of Port Stephens, Australia. Although their livelihoods depended on the sea, the men
They're
could not
showing
bring
Bering
themselves
Strait
to venture
fishing
out to
footage,
their
by the
favorite
way.
crayfish
They're
spot
fishing
near
for
Broughton Island
Alaskan
to
king
hear
crab.
what they had
Please
just
catch,
seen.
yeah.
This is
They had
copyrighted
reported
footage.
seeing a monstrous, ghostly white shark of such
don't worry, it's a
mind-boggling
discovery.
size, and
Yeah.
apparently no one could agree exactly how big the Leviathan was. The shark was big enough to swallow several lobster pots at least, but the size estimates Stead drew from the workers range from 115 feet to an absurd 300 foot.
we're showing nothing about this thing
they
that they're
showed-
talking about.
They
Yeah,
showed, no, because that's what
giving me
that's yeah.
so much confidence in what you're
That's
saying.
what he said. It was an interview with a bunch of lobstermen who I guarantee you were drinking. They lost a bunch of pots, right? And they're like, oh shit, we lost all our pots. That's embarrassing. We got to come up with a story. So then they said a shark ate them. And the guy just said, oh, it was anywhere between 115, which would put it about on the scale of that picture that he just said might be fake, or over 300, which would make it the biggest thing that's ever lived in the ocean ever. Hanging out in Australia, like, within the last 100 years. Like, that's so stupid.
Let me ask you a different question. As a, I think what we're called are fishermen.
Yeah.
We're casual. You ever lie about the size of the fish you caught?
Literally every time. When you're big fish fishing, you add a foot, no matter how big it was, to make yourself the coolest guy in the room. So I guarantee you, one lobsterman heard that a guy said 180, so he said 200, and the next guy said 225. And eventually it hit 300, and it became something so big, I don't think it's even scientifically possible for it to exist.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Blue whales, the largest ones that we have 100 feet.
100 feet. So
110 feet is the longest.
It's 3 times that size. It would literally, I don't even know if biologically something that big in the water at that scale could distribute oxygen correctly.
Oh my god, the heart size you would need.
Yeah,
Aside
the
from that,
circulatory
sharks
system.
are-
The circulatory system would need to be so robust. It is constantly
caloric
pumping.
intake alone.
It would need to literally be a nuclear reactor, like to sustain itself. Even then, like it would be sucking up half the ocean in water every breath. It's.
Can we build nuke sharks?
I mean, I don't think we should, but that's the only way that I could see 300-something foot shark existing.
This shark, which Stead believes to be of the White Death type, was a remnant of a very
Also, I
real
like that they're like,
species
oh, it was
that skulked
bright
the seas
white.
for millions
Okay,
of
so it's an
years.
albino shark that
Of
doesn't
course,
exist.
I'm talking about the Megalodon.
That
If
would be
Stead
so
was
much
right about
easier
his size
spotted.
estimates, there may still be a living Megalodon, or even a
this
living
doesn't look like
population out
CG.
there
Oh,
at
it's
sea.
100% real for sure.
Although, I will admit that's
Oh,
a little
yeah.
absurdly big for a Megalodon, though.
Oh, little.
Numbers,
Guys,
you
it's a
admit
little
it.
absurdly big. I'm
On
sorry.
a Mexican beach. Yet another piece of evidence that has divided millions.
Okay, I'll tell you right now. I just looked at the shark. That's a basking shark. I just looked at it. I used my
But
eyes
if you're a
for 2
staunch
seconds.
believer in the
It's a
continued
basking
existence
shark.
of the
Look at the mouth.
Megalodon, then this video
basking
footage will
shark.
surely be enough for you.
There is no
Footage
other
emerged
evidence
of a beach shark,
that it's
reportedly
anything
in
other
some
than
beach
a
in
basking
Mexico.
shark.
While you could say that this could just be a great white shark,
It's not.
it definitely
It doesn't
looks
have a
larger
white
than
underbelly.
anyone I've seen.
And the head shape doesn't
And
match.
do you know what kind of shark whose size much closely resembles...
Close,
Also,
but
look at the size of that cop next to that shark. So he's probably standing,
It's
what,
not a
50
80-foot
he's,
shark.
yeah, he's starting, what, 15 feet away? That guy's probably a 6-foot guy with shoes on. And that shark's, what, 3 guys long? It's probably like a 25 ish, if we're playing with the scale a little bit, 25 to 30 foot shark, if we're really stretching it. The last guy said it was 300.
Yeah.
That would be like 45 people long. It wouldn't fit on the fucking beach. Maybe it's a baby. Maybe it's a baby. It's a baby megalodon. That's what it is. It was just born and died on this Mexican beach. Even though the last one was in Australia, this one's in Mexico though. It's on vacation.
It's the Megalodon.
Oh yeah.
I think we can all kind of come to a conclusion on that one now. Of course, skeptics will always tell anybody who would listen that it's just a beach great white shark.
It's not a great
white.
white.
The fact is, there are no great whites that could even possibly
Wait. Look at this. It literally says in the news article it's on Long Island.
Oh yeah,
it's the New York State Office of Parks and Rec. So it's not even in Mexico.
Basking shark, 26 foot long, which is about the size of their species.
Yeah, and see, I was right. I was like, 25 to 30. Amazing how using 30 seconds of brain power could deduce that everything he said was wrong. The information in his own video doesn't even match what he's saying. It's like two different people made this. It's like there's the dude who voiced it over and the dude who made the video, and they didn't talk about it at all. It's like when one guy has to do the PowerPoint and one guy has to like write the essay, and they just hate each other and don't work on it, and they create two different products. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
That's according to my research, at least.
Just.
Then there are also
Well, you could clearly see the basking shark when you get up.
Oh, come on!
Exaggerated. But then again, video evidence doesn't lie. But as
they literally
say,
showed them out. It's got no
amount of
teeth
evidence,
in the mouth.
no matter how convincing, is enough for skeptics. I guess someone will need to catch a mega alive, or at least capture footage of one in the wild.
How am I going to catch it alive? Apparently it's 350 feet long.
Number 4.
Or maybe just not show a basking shark.
Demon.
The black
demon shark is an enormous black shark whose territory is said to be just off the coast of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula.
Are you sure you don't mean Long Island?
In recent times, several local
they're
fishermen have
very
reported
hard to
seeing
get
the black
apart.
monstrosity. The black demon is said to be 20 to 60 feet long and weighing anywhere between 50 to
Love how they're not showing
100,000
anything.
pounds.
Yeah.
It is said to resemble a great white, but with very dark coloration and a truly monstrous tail.
Okay, so it's 1% as big as the one in Australia. It's 20 to 60 feet. You know what shark is really dark and gets above 20 feet? A great white shark. And they love Mexico, assuming we're actually in Mexico. So what it sounds like is it's just a great white shark that is slightly darker in coloration, or maybe it's melanistic, like it has a birth defect. It has melanism.
Great white sharks don't always get over 20. I mean, that.
No, but I'm saying, let's assume, let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they're actually seeing a shark, right? Okay, what sharks can get over 20 feet that people would mistake as a megalodon or the black demon? Okay, I could believe you being some guy and fishing, and you see a big black shark like goes by your boat really quick. You're not really paying attention, and it's for a brief second. It looks like it's the size of your little fishing boat, of your rowboat or whatever. You're like, damn, that shit's like 25 feet long. The biggest great white.
To say it's not a freaking without white.
Yeah, it could be an orca. I mean, they definitely go down there. Or even let's assume they're 100% certain it's a shark species.
Right? Cosmopolitan distribution. They're all over the world.
But let's play devil's advocate. We're like, okay, 100% it's a shark, right? Well, it's probably not a mako if it's that big. If it's as big as the guy says it is. So you're thinking, okay.
Oh, it's not a mako. Not a black tip.
It's not a black tip because the coloration is totally different. You're like, okay, let's give it to you that it's just a really big great white shark with melanism, right? If that sighting is supposed to be like your proof, right? It doesn't fit with the scale that you established for the last 7 sightings. Every single sighting you've given has shown 80 foot or higher. And you're like, it could be 20 to 60. What? You gotta, if you're gonna propose a thesis, you need to keep it consistent within its own logic. You can't just be like, any shark that I don't know.
Big of a freaking thing.
That's a 3 times multiplier on its own scale. That's like saying, like, yeah, you have a tumor. It's between 1 inch and 2 feet. What? How big is the fucking tumor then?
Like, oh my god.
That's obviously hyperbolic, but still, 20 to 60 is ridiculous.
Is it though?
Well, just a smidge.
In 2009, the TV series Monster Quest dispatched a film crew to the Sea of Cortez to investigate the claims from American sport fisherman Eric Mack.
Completely reliable show that didn't embellish
encountered an unidentified creature that met the legend's description. The ocean-dwelling monstrosity.
The CG.
Did you just see the CG? It does the splash doesn't come out where the tail hits. Look at
Fisherman
this.
Eric Mack, who was sailing
The
off
water
coast of
doesn't
Baja
move as
in
it
July
swims,
2008
and then it plays
when he
like
encountered an
splash sound
unidentified
effect.
creature that met the legend's
It just
description.
pitches down, and then
The
the
ocean
splash
blowing up.
happens on delay.
That is so bizarre.
That reeks.
So reliable.
That reeks
So
of 2000.
freaking
You know what that is?
reliable.
That's 2009 CGI. That was cutting edge when Monster Quest faked that
Dude, that's-
20 years ago or whatever. I don't
That's
even
bringing me
need
back to
a
college. That's bringing me back to college. Me, you, a couple of our other buddies just sitting down watching all the terrible shark
sci-fi
movies
yeah.
on.
Dude,
Oh my God.
I would believe avalanche sharks before I believed that footage. That's how bad that CG is.
Monstrosity,
Dude, that
that
movie-
exists, has been
Come on,
suspected of
two-headed
being
shark
an
attack,
oversized
three-headed shark
gray
attack.
white,
Five-headed shark
perhaps
attack,
with
all more
melanism,
believable.
which is the development of dark-colored pigment in
Yeah,
the
where
skin,
they jump in 2
or the
feet of water
opposite of albinism.
and land.
But of course, the more
Oh, those look
popular
like
theory
seals.
is that the supposedly extinct Megalodon still roams the coast
Yeah,
of Baja.
just
I
one.
don't know.
He just
So,
hangs out in the
swimmers beware.
Bahamas forever. He's immortal. now.
Number
He made a genie wish.
3. The Coast Guard footage.
Oh, the Coast Guard.
Aside from sailors, who obviously spend most of their
Why do I
lives
feel
at
like I've
sea,
heard
the
of
guys
this?
who are most likely to
it's
catch
probably-
footage of the
it's
mighty
probably something
Meg
that
would
we
be the
saw
Coast
on, like,
Guard.
in
On their rescue
2012 during
helicopters,
Shark
they
Week
would
or
have the
something.
perfect vantage point to spot anything lurking below the waves.
Wow, the quality on this
And
video
in
is
this
something,
rather
huh?
controversial footage, they might have accidentally found the elusive Megalodon. The Brazilian Coast Guard caught
They
sight of
might
the
have
monstrous
accidentally
fish while
found.
attempting a
Uh-huh,
rescue
Yeah,
at sea.
conveniently.
At first, the Coast Guard officers didn't notice
Okay.
a giant shadow swimming past them beneath the waves. But after reviewing the footage later on, they
Are
couldn't
you
believe
kidding
their
me?
eyes. If the size of the shadow was of any indication,
It's in the upper
animal
right
was
corner,
upwards
by
of
the way.
60 feet
That's the
long.
proof.
Of course, it could have been another large fish, primarily the whale
That
shark.
is-
But there is one glaring flaw in that assumption.
Someone
Whale
is
sharks don't
dragging.
swim
Wait, I
anywhere
don't know what
near
his
Brazil.
glaring
Yeah.
problem is.
Dude, someone is dragging a transparent PNG across the video. That's what that is. Because it's not moving at speed of scale with the tail movement. And also, they said it's like 60 foot, but it passes that one dude for like 6 seconds straight. So it's like way bigger than that. And it's also wide as a truck.
Rewind this a little bit. I want to hear what he says.
Yeah.
What the one reason is. It's
Of
When I
course,
hear
it
this.
could have been another large fish, primarily the whale shark. But there is one glaring flaw in that assumption. Whale sharks don't swim anywhere near Brazil. Furthermore,
also that's. I mean, even if you're gonna argue it's a whale shark,
Yeah.
it's not a whale shark. But yeah, no, that looks fake as hell.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I'll give him that. I cannot think off the top of my head of any situations where whale sharks have been studied off the coast of Brazil. He's got me on that one. It probably isn't a whale shark because you're right. There probably aren't whale sharks there that I've ever read. Cool.
Also-
Everything else, pointless. That is pointless compared to everything else.
Based on the scale that they're showing there, the size that they're showing there, you would think there would have been a breach with the dorsals.
Yeah, also, even though the rotor wash of the helicopter is like moving the water, people in the water would have felt the displacement. Something that wide. Like, if you look at how wide it is compared to how
Absolutely.
wide the people
the
are,
footage
you would have
has been
felt it. It would
analyzed
have
by
felt like
countless
a
experts,
subway
and
going
there's
past
no way
you.
that it could have been doctored. With this, the
There's
video has been
guys, there's no way it could have been doctored. Why? Because I said so. Not because it could easily be doctored. It's a 144p video from who knows how long ago, and there's definitely people whose job it is literally to doctor photos, but it definitely wasn't doctored. Trust me, because I'm a reliable guy.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, this is before AI, so AI didn't do it.
Sure, you know
But,
what?
like,
They
no.
didn't take somebody's
It's
job
so
when they
easy to
faked,
do.
Yeah, when they faked
Some-
this, they
someone
didn't take
know-
someone's job. At the very least, they have the people who fake this. They have morals.
touted as the best evidence for the continued existence of this beastly shark. Number
That was the
2.
number 3 sighting, by
The
the way.
Zane Grey sighting. Pearl Zane Grey was an American author and dentist best known for his popular adventure novels and stories associated with the Western genre in literature and the arts. He idealized the American frontier. Riders of the Purple Sage was his
Wait,
best-selling book.
He's
Okay,
literally
now I know
just
what you're
an author.
thinking. What does an award-winning novelist with a penchant for writing westerns have anything to do with megalodons?
I am thinking.
Well, he believes he
I'm
actually
interested.
saw one, or rather a shark too big to be, and to quote him, a harmless white shark. Strong words. In the
Love the
novel
picture.
Megalodon, Fact or Fiction, Rick Emmer writes that Gray claimed to have seen one of the man-eating monsters of the South Pacific, a shark much longer than his 30-40 foot boat. Apparently, the shark was yellow and green, with a square head, immense pectoral fins, and a few white spots.
Okay.
Okay, I love how none of
before
that description ever matches any shark on record.
Yeah,
as far as I'm aware.
Even better, why are we taking the sighting of a guy whose literal job it is to write convincing fictional adventure stories? It's his whole job to write convincing lies. And he's not even like he's not even an aquatics expert. He writes westerns. It's just so asinine. It's his job to be able to lie well. So obviously he's going to tell a really good story that gets people talking, because then he's going to get quoted, and I bet you people are going to buy his books. That's his whole job. He didn't even know how big his own boat was. I know my boat's a 26 foot, easy, on the fucking spot. I know its make, I know its model, I know the kind of engine. You're telling me this guy's got a 30 or 40 foot boat. Motherfucker, it says it on the paperwork. You got to register it. Like, I don't care how old this is.
Hold up, you have paperwork for your boat?
Yeah, it's just like, even if this guy's like, oh, I'm fancy schmancy author, I can't remember everything. 30 to 40 foot boat. A 10 foot is a boat. So you're telling me the difference in size you think your boat is another boat. Like, that's how uncommon.
Hole in Mine's boat is a 12 foot aluminum.
Exactly. And so
we need to get the motor fixed for.
Yeah, and it's just so dumb. No one who knows what they're doing doesn't know their own measurements. Because when people ask you, that's the first thing they ask you. How big's your boat? Oh, it's 26. What's it got in the engine? Oh, it's got a 300. Awesome. Mercury? Nah, Evanry. It's like everyone knows it because that's how boat guys talk. No one who has a boat is going to be like, well, my boat is set 30 or 40 foot, and also maybe I saw a shark that wasn't a harmless white shark, which, hey, at the very least, credit for calling it a white shark, because technically there is no shark called a great white shark, because there's no lesser white shark.
Is the technical name.
White shark is the technical name. So at the very least, he got literally a thing correct. That's it. Congratulations. You got a 1 out of 100 on the test. Take the class again. Like, it's ridiculous.
It does have to
Aside
be
from
stated
that,
Gray himself
let's
didn't
talk
say
about
that
the
he
color
thought
and the
he saw
shape. He said a
Megalodon.
square
But
head,
what other-
yellow and green coloration. That matches nothing. Nothing.
Literally not. I mean, square head, sure.
What did you go to a kindergarten and have someone draw you what they think a shark looks like?
At the only thing I could think of, the only shark I could think of with that coloration and a not pointy head is a fucking wabagong. That's the only thing. Because
my god, I forgot about the wabagongs.
And wabagongs,
those things are so awesome looking.
They're just really flat
but
fish.
They're not like that.
They're literally nothing. They have that kind of coloration because they're supposed to blend in with the sand. Yeah,
they're flat.
Yeah,
you would never mistake that.
That's why I think he researched shark colors, saw Wabagong's colors, and was like, okay, that, but on a great white shark size. And then also for style, let's throw in a mako shark speed, and it had really big pectoral fins, kind of like a thresher's tail. You know, we'll make a hybrid Frankenstein shark that'll really get the papers printing. You know, I think that's
sharks are so cool.
Oh, they're so cool.
Before we move on, do me a favor. My analytics show that only about 50% of you watching are actually subscribed. Come on, guys, what's up with that? Can you guys please hit the subscribe button? You guys watch my videos every day anyway, so you might as well subscribe and keep up to date with every video we put out. Number 1.
This is the most important
sighting.
The
Great Barrier Reef is one of
Great
the world's
Barrier Reef.
largest
So we're in
marine
Australia.
habitats,
We're in Australia again.
Allegedly.
At one of the points in the world with the most biodiversity. So, admittedly, if something cool is going to be here, once upon a time, but admittedly, if something cool is going to be here, it's going to be here. I believe it, that there's cool shit at the Great Barrier Reef. I want to go there one day. It's one of my dreams to dive at the Great Barrier Reef.
Absolutely.
Home to millions of fishes.
I want to go free diving off the Cape.
Although most of it is readily accessible, scientists believe that they still have much to learn about the reef.
We do. We have a ton to learn about the reef.
In fact, there still may be a lot of unknown species left to be discovered.
Ideally, not how to kill it.
In line with that, the Great Barrier Reef may also be the perfect hiding place for a species long thought extinct.
Yeah, I know.
See, now there's where you lose me. The Great Barrier Reef, the reef section of the reef, the whole thing, functions as a reef. It needs sunlight. So at its deepest parts, it's not more than, 150 feet for what we call like the tourist area of the Great Barrier Reef. I mean, just like scientifically speaking, right? Most corals can only grow in places where sun reaches the bottom, right? Because they photosynthesize with their symbiotic dinoflagellates. So to
Well,
do that,
yes,
you need sunlight.
it's
Sunlight
the,
disappears after 300 feet in a water column. So it has to be in less than 300 foot of water. If there's a 300-foot shark in Australia, as he said 4 clips ago, you'd see it in 300 foot of water. So where's it hiding? Under the coral? Did it dig a hole? Like, what's the plan there?
In the 1960s,
when you're in water that's clear like that, I've seen it. You could see down pretty damn far when you're snorkeling in water. You can see down pretty damn far in clear water.
Although the men
like
subsequently refused to openly report what they had seen for fear of public ridicule, the captain and his crew later told friends of
can't imagine why.
Right,
public ridicule
guys,
for being an idiot.
We didn't tell anybody because we were drunk.
We didn't tell anybody because we were afraid of being wrong. Huh.
Interesting.
You didn't want to tell anybody about a possibly world-changing sighting?
No.
But then somehow it's in this video?
No, don't worry about it.
Shark as it moves
oh my god!
Whitish in color, they were awed by its size. It was.
I also like how all the footage over this guy's section has been different boats, great white sharks, some of which I don't even think is in Australia. I think this looks like it's in the water. Looks like it's in Cape. But even then, it's like his number one sighting doesn't even have like a photo associated
longer
with
than
it.
their boat.
Experienced
men of the sea, they too were certain the creature was not a whale. So what was it? Other writers, such as author Rick Emmer, suggest it could have been Megalodon. Did any of these sightings make?
Oh yes, they suggest it could have been Megalodon.
Dude, that was it, by the way. The number one evidence is some guys on a boat in Australia saw a big shark, and they asked the guy. Yeah, but they were too afraid to mention it until someone asked them about it, and then they asked the guy, and he said, "Oh, hey, it's probably Megalodon." Cool. None of that makes any sense. That's stupid. First of all, even if we operate on the assumption that like the pictures and stuff that you showed earlier won't Photoshop, which we both agree that they are Photoshopped, that's better evidence than the 7 clips later where he's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, two dudes on a boat saw a big shark that, trust me, they said it wasn't a whale. They know whales, I guess. And they asked this other guy, and he said it could be Megalodon." So that's my number one evidence. That's it. Closing thoughts. The Megalodon is dead. It is extinct. Every scientist we've ever studied under, studied with, researched, talked to, ever, and all our time doing marine biology, and all my time doing my day job now, which is aquaculture, is that it's dead. It's extinct. 100%. There's no question. There's no wiggle room. The current population of the world in the oceans and the biodiversity as it's spread can't sustain a living, breedable population of megalodons. It just doesn't work. It can barely sustain the current population of sharks, and that's even with us killing all the ones that we do. So it's just not workable. Even if it could, back in the 60s.
It's ridiculous.
Even if it could back in the 60s, the fishing that large countries like the United States and China do would completely destabilize it within like 50 years. So if this has been around since 1875, if there was one shark around, it's dead. If there was a breedable population, they would have starved anyway. Any circumstance in where there would be physical proof, there isn't any. And then all these circumstantial areas where the proof is speculative, photoshopped or doctored evidence, or just some guy said so, is the back. If that's the backbone of your argument, it's a bad argument, scientifically speaking. Like, no one has ever proposed a thesis with the evidence of "trust me, bro." Like, that's not how science works.
Oh my god!
College would have been so easy. Dude, college would have been so easy if that's how we would have gotten our degrees. If I didn't have to write an actual thesis and I could just go, "Hey guys, there's fish in the clouds. Trust me, bro." And then got my degree, best money I ever spent. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You need to actually do research, do analysis, write a report, and prove it. Or at least prove evidence in favor of it. Yeah, exactly.
In your what, 8 or 9 months collecting data alone?
Yeah, just data collection. That's not even analysis. And they're not even talking about just like the writing of it, citing papers. Like, there's so many steps, and you need to be so robust for it to pass muster. And then someone's like, "Don't worry, guys.
Trust me, bro." Yeah.
Trust me. No, even better. Trust me, bro. That basking shark that's on a beach in Mexico, that I'm going to show you a news article. that says it's in Long Island and is a basking shark. It's not a basking shark in Long Island. It's actually a megalodon in Mexico. My proof, everyone in that video wasn't Mexican. It was a bunch of white people on a beach in Long Island. And it was just like, none of it makes sense. This has been easily the dumbest yet simultaneously most entertaining 10 minutes of my life. Like, it's I am so glad.
10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I am so glad that I didn't have to deal with someone like this in school. But now that I'm out of school and I'm in the real world, I can laugh at people like this. Because there are people who watch this and they go, that's it. That's undeniable proof right there. That author said so 60 years ago. That means it must be true. And those people, man, I love seeing how those people function on a day-to-day basis. Those are the people that they got aluminum foil on their windows to stop the Martian death rays from getting in. Those are the fun people, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's like with all of these, quote unquote, like, yes, Megalodon did exist.
That is undeniable. It was at one point alive. We all agree on that.
It is extinct. It is extinct. Is there possibly a larger shark species that we don't know about?
Sure,
Technically speaking,
maybe. I wouldn't put my money on it. I wouldn't put my money on it.
I wouldn't put money on it, but it is technically a possibility that there is another shark species. I mean, hell, species are constantly diverging from each other, or we're just getting better and actually delineating species. Is it possible that we have two different white sharks? I know, we have great white sharks as a common nomenclature, but, is it possible that, one day it's going to be, oh, this is the white shark and this is the smaller white shark? You know what I mean? And modern technology. It's amazing how these sightings have gone down and down.
Yeah, right? Ever since cameras were invented.
Yeah. Everybody has phones. The old cameras, you had to hold them so stable. Like, one of the biggest thing that comes to mind for like all of these creatures is like the Bigfoot photo that's like the guy walking, blah, blah, blah. You have to have, for that one to be so clear.
Yeah, he would have to hold that pose for like a minute, like staring at the camera.
Not at that point. You would have had to hold that pose for a good amount of time, and that camera would have been you had to know.
Yeah, you had to know it would have been there.
Exactly, and if you have a creature like that, I would highly think it wouldn't do that.
Yeah. If there's one thing that I'll stand by, is that I put my entire scientific career on the fact that the Megalodon is dead. It is extinct. It is not hiding in the Marianas Trench. It is not hiding in a super secret cave underneath the Marianas Trench. It's not under the Great Barrier Reef. It's not in a tornado. It's not in a tornado above Los Angeles. It's nowhere because it's dead, and it will stay dead, and it's not gonna come back as a zombie.
We got these people that are making dire wolves and shit.
Don't even get me started. That's a different video. Yeah. That's a different video.
Dire wolves. They are not dire wolves.
You're gonna go off. We're gonna go off on a tangent. We're gonna be here for 30 more minutes. But that is what I will say. I would need to go get another beer for that. That is our scientific takeaway. Please, if you've learned nothing else from our yapping for 40 minutes, or however long this has been, great white sharks are not megalodons. Basking sharks are not megalodons. Mexican beaches are not Long Island beaches. And everything you've seen in this photo so far is either a poorly done Photoshop, a moderately well done Photoshop, or utter and complete circumstantial witness statements with no corroborating evidence from people 100 years ago.
Or just lack of, actual evidence.
Yeah. Overall, 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. It was, however, very funny.
And again, fishermen are not a reliable source.
We are not.
We are liars.
I will tell you, I lie like a dog when I lose a fish. That fish was 45 feet long. Trust me, bro. That's the only time trust me, bro will get you somewhere. But hey, until next time.